Main reason why you're not attracting the most high quality clients is because you're afraid. You simply have fear. Now, I don't mean in the sense of a horror movie where you're getting chased by some serial killer. What I mean is you lack clarity, and as a result, you're scared to take action because you don't know what's coming next. For example, if you knew what numbers were kind of winning the lottery, you would 100% take action. But the reason why you don't buy $7, $10 lottery tickets every single day is because obviously you're going to be losing money. You're scared that you're going to be losing money because you don't know whether or not you're going to win. So that lack of clarity is what's preventing you from taking action and is what's preventing you from attracting the most high quality leads that you possibly can. Now, I want to show you how you can do this. Let me explain to you who I am. I run a coaching and consulting firm, and essentially I help coaches and consultants build a high ticket offer. Now, these are some of my results. 1,000 PIF, 2.4K PIF, 4.5K, $231,000 ticket, 54 growth in rev, compounded by 10K every single month, 10K cash collected, 33K rev, 4.2K. Depending on your niche, you can tell that I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So, and I hope that you can see that too. I want to explain to you that your fear and lack of clarity is what's preventing you from attracting the top 20% of your niche. Because the people who actually earn the majority of your industries and your niches money are the 20%, while the rest of the 80% are the ones that are suffering, are the ones that are collecting from the bottom of the barrel. And that's the reality. That's in every single industry. Now, in terms of what you're currently doing right now, is that there's a 3-part process. Now, a lot of people go through, and let me explain to you, you don't know what it is already. So the first one is traffic and lead generation. You generate traffic simply by using social media, either through ads or through your organic reels. And then people come over onto your page. You can also use scrapers to cold outbound messages, essentially messaging people who don't know who you are and they're completely cold. So for example, just coming up to a stranger and saying, hey, do you want to buy my products? That's a cold lead, okay? The next one is lead nurture. To have someone want to buy from you, you have to generate trust, and you do that with your stories, your reels, your YouTube, and obviously you can get an editor for that. And ads, you can always script that and your content as well with AI automation. That's cool, graphic design. That's really nice. That's probably what you're doing right now. And you may not be doing that well, but using AI, I mean, if you look here, it's quite elaborate. The way it looks at multiple assets, for example, previous scripts, your videos, and as a result, it can determine your speaking voice and exactly how you communicate and make scripts that are able to replicate your voice, which just saves you so much time. I guarantee you that. The next one is that you're probably converting. You're either using a bot to send messages out for you, and if you're not, you're wasting your time. And you're actually at a massive disadvantage because you don't understand how much time sending out openers is for you, also for your commission-based appointment center as well. If you don't have a setter, well, what are you doing? I literally have a video for that in one of my YouTube videos, and you can check that below if you want some help. But essentially, you follow a process where you connect with someone, you say, hey, appreciate the follow. If they're following you, if it's a cold outbound, we have the cold outbound script for that. Yeah, that's also another video. I just cannot believe how much free value I've given out. But anyway, you qualify them, you ask them a series of questions. If you got exactly what it is that they need, you send them a loom to even nurture them even more. And then you convert them, tell them your offer, you book on a call, you hop on a consultation call, you book out your calendar, you send them a juicy invoice for your Stripe, and your Stripe looks like that. How nice is that? The reality is that that doesn't happen for everyone. You need a massive personal brand. You need massive case studies, and you need massive case studies and testimonials because people don't trust you. We're in a market where it's a level 5 sophistication, meaning that people are incredibly distrusting of you, of me. And as a result, we have to lower the barrier of entry that someone has to go through when they actually want to work with you. Because if you're charging over $1,000 for your product, it's going to be impossible if you don't have a massive personal brand, a lot of case studies, or make a massive guarantee with a huge risk reversal where you end up losing time or money. But if you're just starting, that also means that you should actually work for free anyway. But nevertheless, how you can improve this process in 3 simple steps involves this. The first one is you or your setup pre-qualifying questions that are specific to the objections that you experience on sales calls. So when you hop on sales calls, if you are booking any, then you want to note down and always take note and always track sales calls. Okay. All my clients and myself, we have a sales tracker to the point where we track our emotions, which is absolutely ridiculous when you think about it, but it works. Let me tell you that. So when you hop on sales calls, you want to track the objections that you experience, because then you're able to make content in the form of Loom or YouTube videos that you send to people, when as a result, you're able to handle those objections before people hop on calls with you. And so they have no reason to have that objection. The next one is that you need to create content assets to increase trust and reduce bias friction. And that's the same thing as the objections. However, now you're giving people value in a different asset. So what that means is, let's say someone is struggling with structuring out their fulfillment. What I would literally do is film one new video, obviously not giving away everything, but enough to spark curiosity. And as a result, I'm able to attract them as a pre-qualified lead who now understands what I do and a little bit about my process. And as a result, they trust me a little bit more, not completely, and they see the value, and they see that I'm genuinely trying to help them and that I know what I'm speaking about. The next one is your Calendly. So when you're sending your Calendly and you don't have any questions on there, it's just like booking a strategy call. If you name your call a discovery call, you're going to fail. Like, name it something else. Just be creative. Ask ChatGPT. Strategy call works. One example. I'm not going to give you any more free names. But here, you want to ask them what their current situation looks like. You want to ask them what their desired situation looks like. You want to paint the picture on what they could be working towards within the time frame that you work with them for, 4 months or 6 months, whatever you choose. You want to ask them what they're currently struggling with. And then also, the most important one is their financial situation, because you don't want to hop on calls with brokers. You don't want to waste your time spending an hour trying to objection handle someone who at the end of the day doesn't even have money. Imagine throughout the call, I can testify to this being a reality because I've hopped on over 60 sales calls in the past couple of months. Now, I've had a situation where someone hopped on this call with me. This was about a year ago, where I was just starting off, and they had a wife objection. They wanted to speak to their wife because they didn't want to pay 2K for this old offer I had. And then I realized that after spending 30 minutes trying to handle the objection, like, yes, you can speak to your wife, I completely understand, and handle that objection. Then proceeding with the next question, of course, I realized that they had less than $200 in their bank account. And I was like, are you serious, bro? You just made me try to handle this objection for the past 30 minutes. And you could have just told me that you had no cash and you're wasting my time. And you know what they said? They said that, oh, I thought this was just a discovery call to see if we're a good fit. And all my days, that really triggered me. That made me crash out. But the reality is that you want to handle all the objections and let your marketing do 80% of the talking before you even hop on a call, before you have to manually speak to someone. It's so annoying. You want your seller to speak to them. You want someone else to handle that, because I can tell you now that if you're focusing on these nitty-gritty tasks that really don't add to making more money for you, allowing you to steer the vessel, which is your business, then you're going to lack the creativity and the cognitive load to actually make the right decisions in your business. So the next thing is that you need to have utter confidence that they know you are the person for the job. And if you ask that question and they say no, then you know that you have a trust issue. You have to go back to here where you pre-qualify questions that are specific to the objections, because that is an objection. And then you need to create content assets to increase the trust to reduce bias friction. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Now, the last one is making sure that they have undivided attention, because if someone doesn't have undivided attention, then you are going to waste so much time. I've had so many cases where someone is in their car, they're walking or doing the dishes or walking their dog. It's incredibly annoying. How can you sell to someone a couple $100 product, and especially thousands of dollars on a product, to someone who can't even listen to you properly? Unless there's some crazy rich Asian billionaire like myself. Now I'm kidding. Well, not yet. But if there's someone who is obviously incredibly busy, they still have to respect you, respect your time. Because imagine this, if that seven-figure entrepreneur was making a lot of money, of course, but they had a business meeting with another seven-figure entrepreneur, do you think they'll be walking their dog? It's because they don't respect you, okay? You have to make those people respect you. Do whatever you need to. Okay, the final thing for this is that you want to create a content ecosystem. Don't waste potential leads, because people think that once people watch your content, they watch more of your content, they trust you, you convert them, they don't close, or they don't book a call, then they just go out here into the trash, into the ether. It's not true. Bring them back into your content ecosystem. I will always say this. I will always say that don't waste potential leads, because you spent so much time making your content, spent so much money making ads, and you don't want to waste those people. Why are you wasting time? Bring them back into your pipeline, because they'll be ready to buy. If you have a legit product that will actually help them in the future, whether or not they see it now, they'll see it in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and maybe 1 year from now. I've had this case so many times. I've had people who didn't buy from me today, but bought from me 4 months down the line because I made a new offer and I told them a new offer which actually would help them and one that would align with them and actually make sense. And as a result, they bought from me. It's so simple. Okay. Use your content assets in the DMs and overall content nurturing, which means that at every single point on this funnel, you need to have optimized conversion systems, nurturing and lead generation in your funnel. And if you implement these three things, you're going to be there. Now, I want to show you something that I've spent so much time on, thousands of hours combined with myself, my clients, my coaches, my mentors, everyone. It's been over $20,000 trying to find the answer. And this is what I found to bridge that trust, the trust that people are lacking, that you are lacking, because you cannot close people and you're handling so many objections. And the reason why you have to do all of this is because people don't trust you. And what I found to bridge that gap is what I call the conversion core. And the people that use it are the conversion council sick day about. So what it looks like is multiple layers where people get different levels of access to you, but there's one core offer. As you can see, it's in the middle, it's the core. I mean, the core is up here, but throughout the entirety of the conversion core, there's one offer separated by different levels of access, as you can see. So this took me a long time to make on Canva, but I think it looks really clean. So the first one is a one-time workshop, a mini course, an asset, a one-time thing that people pay you to start getting some product inertia, to start paying you and actually want to invest in you, because you don't want to make these free school communities. I mean, you can. Maybe in the future, I will change my mind, I will, but I want people to start paying me. I want people to start getting used to giving me money, because if they are, then what's going to prevent them from giving me more money? People who buy iPhones every year spend $1,000, $2,000 buying a freaking iPhone. Obviously, that's an amazing work on behalf of Apple to convince people to actually want to buy that product by showing their value and how much value they can provide to you. But how you can replicate that for yourself is get people used to buying you, get people used to paying a very small, low ticket offer that you can offer. And the next one, the next tier is a low ticket weekly community with very low level of support, like a school community. The next one is a mid ticket weekly, a low ticket community plus direct DM support. So now do you see, once you increase the levels of access, people are slowly getting more access to you. The next one is high ticket weekly, a low ticket community plus direct support. So same one as this below, but now you have bi-weekly calls with you. Okay. So the reason why anyone would even move above these layers is because if they get closer access to you, they're able to move faster. The rate at which they get that result is going to be much faster. For example, if you're training boxing and you have some questions for your boxing coach and your coach can only respond to you once a week, how much knowledge and how much information would you get compared to you if you had your coach every single day to ask questions to 24/7 support? Do you see the difference in speed at which you're able to improve? It's going to be much more significant. That's why people pay for personal training. They pay for PTs because that intimate one-on-one support is what will allow you to accelerate the speed of your progress. And it's simply that. And finally, and this will be in another video, but It's a partnership. What people say, like growth operators, growth consultants, people in that niche, they kind of do this already. However, they do a lot of done for you services. I don't know how much rev share you're making, but often it's not going to be worth it. But you have a legit community that's optional, direct DM support, bi-weekly calls, mainly done for you services. You literally are a part of their business. You're a partner in their business. And you do work as if you work alongside them. Simple as that. And what's the benefit of having this conversion call? Well, you have an offer at any stage and a solution for every level of need. So you're cashing out for every part and every problem that anyone could possibly have. You also have MRR on the back end, which is stable and constantly overflowing with cash, because normally here, if you sell a one-time thing, let's say 2K high ticket offer, the next month you have to do that again. It's very annoying. You have to resell to these people. And the benefit of this is that once you actually sell someone on this low ticket offer, you can upsell them and they already pay you money. If they have the money on hand, they see the value that you're giving to them, why would they not pay you more money? If someone buys an iPhone, why would they buy a MacBook after that? It's because they had the initial value of the iPhone. And as a result, they see value in the iPhone and see even more value in a MacBook. That's why they buy a MacBook or they buy a different product, okay? Your ads and target content are optimized to nurture people with an ROI and cash. People actually pay you to become a lead. Someone's paying you 25 USD, 100 USD for, let's say, a lead magnet that eventually turns into a weekly retainer. They've literally paid you in exchange for a little bit of information that costs you nothing to deliver or no time to deliver. And as a result, you make an ROI on your cash and people pay to become a lead, which is absolutely insane. It absolutely flips the model. You pay money to get ads. You spend time to make content, but you don't get money directly back for your content or for your ads. But this model does, right? The next one is that you have little to no sales calls with the right prospects. Rather, you hop on upselling and onboarding calls to your highest offer. It makes this line so much more smooth. It makes the process of selling and upselling clients so much more smooth. And this one actually makes the most sense to me. If it doesn't for you, that's all right. This is what I found to work the best for me after spending so much time and so much money trying to figure out what the best model was. And right now, I have not 100 followers. I have 600 followers, almost 700 followers. And literally the past 3 days, I've sold, I think, 2 people on a very low ticket offer that was about $500. Just of selling them a doc, which I'll explain to you right now. I literally sent them this document here, the conversion call document. And all I did was say, suss this doc. If you're in, let me know. Message Amit. And 2 people messaged Amit just like that. I got $500. And again, I have 693 followers and I'm able to do this with what? 14 posts or maybe a little bit more than that. I'll take 30 posts and reels and maybe 20 YouTube videos. And if you're not operating at this level, being able to do that, then you're missing out. So I have an offer for you, and I genuinely don't do this in my YouTube videos, but I have at this time, the 15th of June, if you're watching this video, I have 5 remaining spots. So I had 10 before, but obviously they got filled because of some demand. The scarcity, it's real, man. Scarcity does exist. That's why people line up for like drops, e-com drops, clothing drops. But I want you to understand that you need to rise to the standards of the beliefs that you have in yourself, because otherwise you're going to drop to the standards that you hold yourself at. Stop operating in fear. You need to operate in faith. In Latin language, it comes from the word fidel, and the word fid means confidence. And the reason why I'm even talking about this, and the reason why I'm even talking about this is because confidence comes from your mindset. Your thoughts form your mindset. And if you don't have an alignment between your thoughts, your spirit, then you'll never have the physical actions and the reality that you want. You need to draw a line in the sand, because if you don't, then the reality that you'll be existing in will be the same one that you'll be existing in. And that's why I have 5 remaining spots. If you just message me, I'm in. Literally 1 client, one low ticket client, will make an ROI on your investment with just message me, I'm in. If you stop being afraid, then I'll send you this document and I'll see if we're a good fit. And if I genuinely think I can help you, otherwise I'm just going to refuse you. Because if you're not someone who I want to work with, someone I think I can help, then I'm just not going to help you. That's the reality. It's time to stop being afraid and actually doing things that you set out yourself to do. Because every time that you don't, then you lose self-trust. You can't even trust yourself. Do the things that you set out to do. How are people going to rely on you? That's all I have for you today. Ciao, ciao.